Well, good morning and welcome to Zen Live. I'm going to try and put a little discipline on my talk and get it down to 20 minutes. So we'll put a little timer on here, see if this works. Okay, what's in the news? I feel like Seth Meyers. Let's get to the news. And that goes back to, I forgot his name, never mind. All right, what's in the news? Well, what's in the news was Trump's predictable rally at Phoenix. And we've had a lot of wars in our nation, our history, a war on drugs, war on alcohol, prohibition, war on Hitler, war on Japan, war on communism, war. Every time there's a thing, we create a new war. Well, this is the first time we've had a war on the media. So that was the big thing in Trump's talk last night. It wasn't so much about the Mexicans coming, although he did mention a little bit. The main anger, the main thrust was the war on the media. So let's take a look at that. Because I watch Morning Joe or watch CNN, I don't care what you watch, except Fox, for instance. But if you watch the mainstream media, they're perplexed. And they're caught in a constant state of consternation because they have a different reference. There's a different reference. These are two worlds that are contradictory yet mutually dependent. Trump in the media. Two worlds, two worldviews that are incompatible yet codependent. Take a look. So the media world, oh, by the way, when I said the war on media, this is like the fish at war with water. If you declare a war on media, because we swim in media, we breathe, we walk in it, we walk on media like Jesus. I mean, media, TV, cell phones, advertising, television, the whole thing is media. And we're in it. That's where we live. So we better get used to it and we better understand it. But there is a thorn in the side of media. There's a grain of sand in the oyster, and Trump calls it a pearl. Isn't that an interesting analogy? The oyster says, get this grain of sand out. And Trump says, oh, that grain of sand is a pearl. But the pearl depends upon the oyster. You see. So let's take a look at the fish at war with water, or media. So this circle here is media. It's the water we swim in. And the journalists, the pundits, anybody who speaks on media, except in fiction, any nonfiction, references the reality as an ongoing history of interconnected and logical facts. So there is a fact-based reality to media because, like newspapers, its function is to report objective, empirical reality that is agreed upon to be the one reality. There's a lot of differences and arguments, but there's a basic agreement on the interconnectivity of the facts. But when Trump is doing here, which totally blows the mind of the media, they just go over and over and over, all today. They're still scrambling. What is Trump's agenda? What is his purpose? Why does he keep defeating himself? What's he talking about? And it's been taking the 2 years of Trump, and we're still trying to figure out the pattern here. If this big circle here is the objective facts referencing history and agreed upon reality, and then you have this Trump bubble here. There is a different reference. He is not referencing the agreed upon reality, he's referencing the center of Trump's reality is him. So all arrows point to him. It's like a wheel here with spokes. And they all point to Trump, you see. So facts have meaning when it enhances Trump's wheel. That's the whole point. So facts don't reference a logical flow of history. Facts are, the purpose of facts is to maintain and create this bubble. It's like a bubble in a pool of water. All right, so you got a pool. We're all fish swimming in it, you know, and there's this bubble. Well, the bubble exists. If it were not in the pool, it wouldn't exist. So Trump cannot exist without the media. Just as a bubble in a pool of water, down in the water, can't exist without the media, without the water. You see that? So if the bubble were to actually go to the surface, it would pop and there would be no Trump. So Trump is dependent upon the media as an antagonist to the media, as a thorn in the media, as a bubble in the media. And so he has his attacking of the media as false makes him true. It's a reverse world. It's looking in a mirror. Everything is reversed in Trump reality. So this attack on media has not just been created by Trump. I mean, this goes back to the whole Fox agenda. The Fox world is a bubble in the mainstream left media, you see. Mainstream media, left, liberal. Fox was the bubble of resistance. Fox was the bubble of truth. But Fox depended upon the left to exist, just like Trump depends upon the media to exist. Jon Stewart, of course, was a bubble popper. He tried to reveal that in his war on Fox. But now you see Fox is waning. Trump is ascending. And now Breitbart probably will try to create a new Fox. The old Fox died, the new Fox, long live the new Fox, you see. So the new Fox and the Trump, who is like a single voice of the bubble, I am the bubble, he says, you see. And so those who exist as resistance to the mainstream want to be part of his bubble. So basically, Trump is the personification of the ego, which exists as resistance to the world. You see that? The ego exists as resistance to the flow of reality. And we see this, we all have an ego, and we all see that. I'm not happy with that. I don't like the shape of that table. You offended me. I don't agree with that. Now, the room's too cold. The room's too hot. Can't this be better? This thing here is dried out. What's wrong with this? Who bought this thing? This whole idea, you know, of resistance creates me as something special. So Trump creates himself as something special because he dares to resist the whole mainstream of America. And Fox did that. And the GOP did that. That kind of like they based their existence on resisting the left. Obama, anything but Obama. You see. So in a liberal land, and our culture, our civilization is a liberal secular society. All Western society is a liberal secular society. It's not a dictatorship. It's a democracy. It liberalizes. It excludes. It expands. That's a liberal. Of course, it needs checks. It needs a conservative check. Checks and balances. But when the checks becomes an ego, it means I exist because I check. I say no. I exist because I say no. I exist because I say screw you. I'm not going to participate. So it becomes a kind of a childish no, a 2-year-old. No, no. Oh, no. You want to do that? No. You want to have health care? No. Yeah, Trump, Mussolini. You see, I exist because I say no. I exist because I divide. So the whole motif, the whole... I see my timer didn't work. So I have no idea how long I've been... I pushed the wrong button. Okay, so I'm unplugged. So this whole, can we see this as like we're witnessing on our historical field here, screen, a personification of our own ego. Trump is the mythic ego. He is the personification of the resisting ego who exists. He's not saying I think, therefore I am. What he's saying is I resist, therefore I am. He is the eternal rebel. The rebel without a cause, the James Dean movie, you see. He didn't have a cause. His cause is to be a rebel, to be a resistor. This is why the Confederacy mythology is so compatible with Trump. In white resistance, white supremacy, is because the Confederate mythology is a mythology of resistance. I rebel. I refuse to participate. I refuse to be part of the one. I want to be separate and special. And I become separate and special by resisting. That's the only purpose. So we're looking at here the shadow of our own ego on the whiteboard of American reality. And therefore the confusion of the objective journalists with the subjective truth of Trump. Trump is subjectivity, reality, objective, media is objective. Media, reporters, news, report to objective facts that we all agree upon is real. If media, you get a YouTube with a, looks like a spaceship, you know, oh my God, there's an alien. Well, it's not an agreed upon reality. If you see an alien spaceship, it's not going to become agreed upon reality unless everybody sees it, or enough people see it, so it flips reality and say, oh, they're real. So reality is a consensus. So the reality of objective news of the media is basically an agreed upon reality that we need in order to communicate. Otherwise, we'd all be in a cuckoo's nest. Everybody has a different reality. You see? So reality is what we agree upon as real. And that's how science works. If somebody comes up with a new theory or something, you have to be able to reproduce it. And if enough people can reproduce it, say that's real. But if nobody can reproduce it, it's not real. Forget about it. You see, that's the way our reality works now. It's an agreed upon truth. A functional truth, you see. Trump drops in there. For him, truth is subjectivity. For Trump, truth is my story. My resistance. My story is that of resistance. An irritant. A divider. I stimulate combat. I stimulate wars. I create wars. And you can see him do it all the time. So, but the role of the press, you see the contradiction here, is that the role of the office of the presidency is to create unity. And he has flipped the office, destroyed its function, and said the office of the presidency now, with Trump, is to create disunity. This is the destruction of America. When you destroy your institutions, the very thing that holds us together, this This is why people are getting so upset. It's because it's a fragmentation of America into warring tribes. It's a fragmentation of America into tribalism. Eternal civil war, eternal war with each other. The rest of the world is moving on. We're in the backwater, like some kids in the back seat fighting over the space on the seat, you see. Not a pretty image. Anyway, that's what's in the news today. So, thanks for dropping in.